Hey everyone, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new Taylor Swift book recommendations video. I made a Folklore video and an Evermore video, basically where I just went track by track for both albums and recommended books for each song. Recommending books based on songs and kind of matching a song to a book or a book to a song is one of my favorite things to do, so this is absolutely perfect for me. I'm a huge Swiftie, if you couldn't tell. So I just felt like going through all of the albums would be so much fun on my channel and just an excuse to talk about my two favorite things, books and Taylor Swift. For today's video, I'm going to be recommending a book for every single song on Speak Now Taylor's version, including vault tracks. I did do that. I think there's 22 songs from when I counted the first time. I made a whole layout script type of thing on my computer. I know for a fact that my teacher saw me do this. I was just doing this in class out in the open. My screen was up and everything, and I know he saw what I was doing, but also, to be fair, I have written an entire essay in that class on Taylor Swift, so he knows what he's up against, for real. I'll link the two videos that I've done in the past for Folklore and Evermore down below. Before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments down below which album you want me to do next. So let me know if that's something that you have an opinion on down below, and let's just get right into this. I did have a little bit of trouble coming up with books for this video, simply because Speak Now is such a long album, especially Speak Now Taylor's version. So that is a total of 22 songs, which means 22 books, and I do read a lot. I average around 70 or more books a year, but I haven't read so many books that there aren't going to be repeats in these videos, so bear with me. I noticed that Speak Now follows a really linear storyline. It kind of evolves through the track list, and as the songs progress, the storyline progresses as well. So I had a really difficult time because I just kept wanting to recommend the same 5 books over and over again, since I feel like all of these songs kind of relate to one overarching theme and one overarching storyline. Just because I put one book with one song does not mean that it won't relate to 5 different songs on Speak Now Taylor's version. The first song in the track list is Mine, and for this song I picked People We Meet on Vacation. I am currently in the middle of rereading this book. It never feels like you're reading fluffy filler romance, which I appreciate because those aren't always my favorite books. It is actually becoming a movie starring 2 of my favorite actors, Tom Blythe and Emily Bader. Emily Bader from My Lady Jane, Tom Blythe from A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. You were in college working part-time waiting tables, left a small town, never looked back. This book is all about this guy and this girl, Poppy and Alex, who meet in college. That line really stuck out to me because they kind of dreamed together about leaving their small town behind, going to college, so that is why I had to pair them together. The next song on the track list is Sparks Fly, so I had to pick Don't Be in Love. Basically a study abroad romance that has a really pining main male character and a really headstrong female main character, which is one of my favorite tropes, to put those 2 characters together. And he's also basically like Harry Styles, and the forbidden romance between them where they can't get caught because the paparazzi are gonna notice. Maybe in the pouring rain. Rain and London kind of go hand in hand, but also there is a rain scene in this book that is pretty significant. And also the line that says, "My mind forgets to remind me you're a bad idea," because he's a celebrity, she's just a normal girl. Next we have Back to December, so I had to pick One Day in December. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. This book is so not what I thought. I read it in a reading vlog. I'm pretty sure that's still up on my channel if you want to go see it. And I thought that this was totally going to be a Christmas book. It's just giving Christmas holiday vibes, but it doesn't just take place in winter and around Christmas time. They meet on a double-decker bus in London. Can we tell that I love London? So they meet in December, which is why it's called One Day in December, but it does follow their entire relationship and when they get together, when they break up, when they get back together. I picked this one for Back to December because they meet in December, and also because that one line that says, "Wishing I'd realized what I had when you were mine. I'd go back to December, turn around and change my own mind." I feel like that really related to the 2 main characters in this book and just kind of encapsulated their relationship and their friendship and their hatredship, I guess you could say. Next we have Speak Now itself. I don't have this book in my possession because I borrowed it from my best friend, but it is a court of mist and fury. I mean, I can't do a Speak Now recommendations video and not recommend an ACOTAR book. I feel like everybody connects this song with this book and the series as a whole, simply because of that one wedding crashing scene. It's just self-explanatory, and I can't give too much away because it's kind of a spoiler if you've never read the books before. In the second book, a character is getting married and somebody crashes the wedding. So that one line that says, "Don't say yes, run away now, I'll meet you when you're out of the church at the back door," Next, we have Dear John, and for this one, I again don't have this book because I read it online. It is You Could Make This Place Beautiful, and this is actually a beautifully written memoir by Maggie Smith, I believe. She's a writer, and I didn't know anything about her going into the book. I just needed to find a nonfiction book to read for school. It's basically a memoir about divorce, so that's why I picked Dear John for this one, specifically for that one line that says, Dear John, I see it all now that you're gone, and the other line that says, and I'll look back and regret how I ignored when they said, run as fast as you can. It's very beautiful, it's very heartbreaking, but also very healing once you go through the entire process of divorce and grieving someone that's still alive and still kind of in your life because you have kids with that person. So I feel like Dear John is very fitting. Next, we have Mean. This is such a classic Taylor Swift song. I feel like even if you're not a Swiftie, even if you don't like her music, you have probably heard Mean, where it's like, someday I'll be big enough so you can't catch me and all you're ever gonna be is mean. And for this, I had to go with Carrie Soto is back. This book is so mean coded. She's like the best professional tennis player in this fictional world, and she comes back after retiring because she wants to maintain her title, is that what it's called? Her record, basically. She didn't want somebody to beat the amount of times that she's won. The public does not like her. She's not the most personable person, so all of the people that kind of root for her are a little bit scared of her. They're not sure if they can fully connect to her on a deeper level. It felt like I was reading nonfiction, which I loved because she felt like a real person. Specifically, that one line that says, with your switching sides and your walk by lies and your humiliation, you're pointing out my flaws again as if I don't already see them. And that is so Carrie Soto coded. Next, we have The Story of Us, and is it ever a full recommendations video if I'm not recommending Magnolia Parks on my channel? This is my favorite book series of all time. I think if you're into romance and don't mind a little bit of toxicity in your romance books, you should 100% read this book and this series in general. This song fit Magnolia Parks so well because The Story of Us has a line in it that says, this is looking like a contest of who can act like they care less, but I liked it better when you were on my side. See me nervously pulling at my clothes and trying to look busy, and you're doing your best to avoid me. And them just like being in the same room together at these events, since they are socialites in London and they're very rich, and having to see each other when they're not together anymore and kind of being like, I see him there or I see her there and I can't like go over to her. I can't see her in the same way that I used to because of all the stuff that's happened between us. Next, we have Never Grow Up, which I paired with Harmony, which is a poetry book. Surprisingly, I feel like I don't read much poetry, but I'd love to get into that a little bit more in 2025. I have already read 3 poetry books, which I feel like is a record for me. For Never Grow Up, I really wanted to pick a book that reminded me of like getting in touch with your inner child, and that is exactly what this book did for me. I have so many pages like bookmarked and dog-eared, which I know is controversial, but I did it because I want to go back and reread some of these poems when I'm a little older and see if they hit me the same way that they did when I read this year. I don't want you to see this and be like, oh, it's a poetry book about growing up. It is so much more than that. It touches on grief, it touches on love, it touches on friendship and romantic love, and it's just everything that I could ever want in a poetry book and my type of writing 100%. And also Never Grow Up is basically just a song about not wanting somebody to grow up, but learning to accept that they kind of have to, and that you yourself have to grow up as well. Next, we have Enchanted. And I picked The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It took me such a long time to read this book, and I'm so glad that I finally did last year. I'm not gonna say a lot because this is kind of a spoiler if I go into who exactly I'm talking about, since obviously like the title of this book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. My thoughts will echo your name until I see you again. And then the other one that says, there I was again tonight, forcing laughter, faking smiles. Evelyn Hugo is like a Marilyn Monroe type of old Hollywood actress type of character. And, you know, she's in a lot of rooms with people that don't fully get her, people that belittle her because she's a woman in the industry. And it just had to be connected. Next, we have Better Than Revenge. And for this one, I picked Family of Liars. This is a huge spoiler book because it's actually a prequel that's supposed to be read after We Were Liars, which is one of my favorite books. So basically every single thing in this book is a spoiler for We Were Liars, so I can't really give anything away, but the one line in Better Than Revenge that really made me think of this book was, she came along, got him alone, and let's hear the applause, she took him faster than you could say sabotage. Next, we have Innocent. I rarely ever listen to this song, but I think it is kind of a sweet song. Kind of not. I'm pretty sure I know who it's about, and I'm not the biggest fan of them, but anyway. I paired this with Daisy Jones and the Six. Daisy Jones and the Six, I feel like I've talked about a ton on my channel. If you are into bands like Fleetwood Mac and the music industry and kind of that like late 60s, early 70s type of thing, I feel like you're really gonna enjoy this book. Wasn't it easier in your firefly catching days and everything out of reach? Someone bigger brought down to you. Wasn't it beautiful running wild till you fell asleep before the monsters caught up to you? There are some characters that have huge flaws. There are a lot of drug problems, a lot of drinking problems, a lot of that kind of stuff going on in this book, and I just feel like that really relates to that, because it's like, I know that you're finding yourself in this really hard place in your life, but kind of think back to when you were younger, when you were a carefree child, and when people didn't put all of these responsibilities on you and all of this fame and all of this stuff. Next we have Haunted. I picked Powerless for this book. For the song, not this book. I'm really stuck on the cliffhanger in this book. Honestly, I have not read any of the books that come after this yet because I have been waiting for them to come out in paperback, as I do with everything. So I really don't know like how the story ends or anything, but the cliffhanger for this book specifically is so totally giving the lyric that says, "Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out." And also, "Can't go back, I'm haunted because of the trials." Basically, it's giving the Hunger Games, but like fantasy. Think the Hunger Games mixed with Throne of Glass. That's like the best way that I can describe it. It gave me the exact fantasy vibes and fairy tale vibes that I was looking for. Yes, it's kind of the act of the cliffhanger itself in those lyrics, but specifically what happens at the end of this book that makes up the cliffhanger is kind of a betrayal. So those lyrics fit very well. Next we have Last Kiss, and for Last Kiss I picked Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I listened to this as an audiobook, so I don't have it with me, but this book is basically about these video game creators who meet in the hospital when they're little and kind of grow up together and develop video games together. But it's so much more than that. It follows both of their lives, both of the people that they fall in love with, their friendship, their like sort of romance. I still don't know if they were together or not. It's kind of like blurry. So I'll watch your life in pictures like I used to watch you sleep, and I feel you forget me like I used to feel you breathe. First of all, lyricist. The pen was on fire. I feel like this lyric can really be interpreted more so in a friendship way for this book in particular, but also the deep, complex relationships within this book, because I feel like anybody in this book can relate to that line specifically. Watching your life in pictures, kind of like the fame that you get from creating a video game, you kind of see them through the lens of the media or through pictures and videos and not in person, and it's just really heartbreaking. Long Live. For me, Long Live is giving Throne of Glass, specifically the last book in the series. Huge, massive book. It's like over 1,000 pages, and I did read this whole thing. And I have a reading vlog for the entire Throne of Glass series if you want to watch that. I'll link it down below. But this song in particular, Long Live, is so Kingdom of Ash coded because I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. Literally, like... It's literally the whole plot of this book. I can't give much more than that since it's the last book in a series, but just know this is Long Live. Like when I think of Long Live, I think of this book and this book only. Okay, next we have Ours, which I paired with The Do-Over. I don't have this book because one of my friends is borrowing it right now. She also loved it. I haven't read it in a really long time, so it kind of reassured me that she really enjoyed reading it. People throw rocks at things that shine. It's giving rom-com, and of course Lynn Painter is going to give rom-com in all of her books. If you like the whole Groundhog Day trope and also a little bit of like Valentine's Day, because that's just the whole plot of the book, then I would recommend it. It's really cute romance, it's YA, and it's giving Ours. Next we have Superman. For this one I was having trouble. I did not know what I was going to pair with this song, so I picked Never. I feel like this one kind of fits. Maybe. Specifically the one line that said, "Tall, dark, and beautiful, he's complicated, he's irrational." That line really stood out to me when I was looking through the lyrics, and there is a man in this book who is tall, dark, and handsome, and beautiful, and irrational, and complicated. It's kind of describing Hook, basically. If you didn't know, this is a Peter Pan retelling with like a love triangle between Wendy's granddaughter, the son of Captain Hook, and Peter Pan. It sounds way weirder than it actually is, trust me. I watch you fly around the world, and I hope you don't save some other girl. Can honestly fit either relationship in that love triangle. Next we have the vault tracks. For Electric Touch, I picked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I borrowed this one from my best friend as well, so I don't have it with me. It has had such an impact on my life, and I did not expect it to. I think about it pretty often, and I think it's one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking books that I've ever read, and it just hit me everywhere. It like knocked me down. I was on the floor. I picked This book for Electric Touch. This was another one that I was like, what book is Electric Touch? The more that I thought about it, specifically the line in Electric Touch that says, this could either break my heart or bring it back to life. If you know anything about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, she's basically like a time traveler. That's like the weirdest way to put the plot of this book. She basically gets cursed by like the devil, and she basically lives for eternity until she's ready to give up her soul for him, and she hates him, so she's not gonna really give up her soul for him that easily. So she kind of just has to live life invisibly where no one remembers her. So this could either break my heart or bring it back to life. There is a plot line in the book where she does end up falling in love with somebody, and it becomes a bit more complicated than her previous relationships. Next we have When Emma Falls in Love, and I picked Just for the Summer. Is the only reason that I picked this one for this song because the female main character's name is Emma. Maybe. But also the famous line, Emma met a boy with eyes like a man, turns out her heart fits right in the palm of his hand. It's one of my favorite romance books to this day that I have ever read, and that's really saying something because I have read a lot of romance books. Next we have I Can See You. This is gonna sound so stupid, but I picked The Housemaid. She can see you, don't worry. I did not just pick because like I can see you. I picked it because of a couple lyrics in this song. They keep watchful eyes on us, so it's best that we move fast and keep quiet. There is a forbidden affair in this book. This book is becoming a movie, by the way, with Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and the guy from It Ends With Us. This book was actually my favorite thriller that I've ever read, and also the line that says, I could see you in your suit and your necktie, pass me a note saying meet me tonight. I don't want to give anything away because spoilers, but just know spoilers. Next we have Castles Crumbling, and for this one I picked One for My Enemy. This book is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I was about to say modern day, but like I guess it is modern day. It doesn't feel like modern day. But basically it's about these two rival witch families. One of them has like an apothecary store where they sell like beauty products, but they're actually witches, so they actually like work very well because they're magical. There's like the other family of boys, the family of girls. They all start to fall in love with each other. I specifically picked it because of the lyrics that say, once I had an empire in a golden age. Their store and their whole reputation is kind of seen as an empire in this book. And also, power went to my head and I couldn't stop. Ones I loved tried to help, so I ran them off. The brothers and the rivalry between the witches, but also like within the families and like the hierarchy, the birth, rank, and order is so interesting, and it's just written so incredibly well, so I had to pair those together. Second to last song, Foolish One. I picked The Love Wager for this. I'm pretty sure they meet at a wedding and they spend the night together, and then they kind of go their separate ways. They find each other on a dating app, realize that like, oh, I don't think we would be compatible, so they become friends instead and kind of cheer each other on for each other's dates through the dating app. So I just feel like the whole like stop checking your mailbox for confessions of love that ain't ever gonna come is giving the dating app whole plot line. And also, you know, they fake date, there's a wedding, it's kind of giving I'll get your longing glances but she'll get your ring. The last one is Timeless. What a fantastic way to finish off a Taylor's Version album. And this one I picked Everything I Know About Love to pair with Timeless, specifically the line that says, I'm gonna love you when our hair is turning gray. We'll have a cardboard box of photos of the life we made. And not even in a romantic sense, because this book is far from romantic, but the female friendships that you make along the way in your life. That is what this book is giving. That is the message of this book, the moral of the entire story, pretty much. It is a memoir, but it feels more fictional, honestly. It's really growing on me. When I read this for the first time in a vlog, I was kind of on the fence because it was boring at the beginning and depressing, but I realized like that's the whole point. You're supposed to see her struggle through her life and then the way that things wrap up in the end, and she finds her female friends, and that's the whole moral of the story. So honestly, I feel like every woman should read this in their lives, which is so not what I would have said when I picked this up for the first time. I feel like I talked for a really long time, but those are all of the books for Speak Now Taylor's Version. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love books and I love Taylor Swift. If you have a recommendation for the next album you want to see, leave it down below again, as always, and I will see you in the next video.